Welcome to Richard and Greg, a channel dedicated to discussion, debate and argument on a whole range of topics. Today we discuss with Greg the issues surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, whether they are to be believed or not, and what Greg's experience has been having met the royal family on a number of occasions and having family actually working for them. So let's take a look. Welcome to Richard and Greg. It's Saturday, the 27th of March, 2021, and the time is just after 14:53 GMT. And it's been a while since we've spoken with Greg, and we are talking today about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in particular, and also some of the issues surrounding the debacle concerning recent publicity about this couple and the royal family in the United Kingdom in particular. Now, I appreciate that this subject has been out for a while, but we thought we would let perhaps others make their comments before you heard ours. So with that note, we'll go over to Greg and ask his opinion about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and whether he thinks the royal family are racist. Greg, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, let's start out with the second question first. I have met most of the royal family. My parents worked for the top end of the royal family in a private capacity, representing them on their charities. And I've met, I think, all of them except Edward, because he was too young to be at the last event I went to, which was back when Princess Margaret was alive. So I do have a rough idea of what I'm talking about. And I think one can safely say, without exception, other than gauche language of its time, that I know of absolutely no example of racism within the family. And we can go right the way back to Queen Victoria, who had an Indian confidant and was also host for a long period of time to Keteswayo, who came and lived at her expense in London. Now, many of you may not know who Keteswayo was. Keteswayo was the paramount chief of the Zulus after Ushaka. So I really can think of no instance. I also happen to know that William has several fairly close personal friends, not by virtue of status, but by virtue of the fact that he met them at university and has more or less grown up with them, who are blacks of African origin from families that still live in Africa. So I think we can hit that one totally on the head. Meghan Markle, well, it would appear she hasn't changed a great deal now that she's married, because as far as I can work out, she's fallen out with almost everybody prior to getting married. Long before she met Harry, her press release, as presented by Oprah Winfrey, was, in my opinion, singularly bereft of truth and almost totally lacking in accuracy. I can think of no notable part of that conversation that was, in my experience and opinion, remotely accurate. Let us take a simple one. It was stated that they had actually got married 3 days before the ceremony of their wedding at Windsor Castle. What an incredibly insulting slap in the eye to all their guests, many of whom came in the pretense or belief that they were friends of Meghan Markle's. They came from America. It was literally millions of people who watched that ceremony, and yet it was totally dismissed as nothing more than something you would expect to see in a soap opera on television, because allegedly they had got married 3 days earlier. Well, we know for certain that that is an absolute, total, blatant lie, because, as she said, there was Harry, her, I believe one other person, and the Archbishop of Canterbury present. So by definition under law, that was not a marriage, because you require a minimum of 5 people present to have a marriage. It doesn't matter what amount of gender bending or however you play it, you need the 2 participants a witness each, and a priest or other appropriate and legitimate individual to conduct the service. That's 5. And as she stated, there were an absolute maximum of 4 there. So that is a pack of lies. I'm afraid her hogwash about mental illness and thus the entire story of she felt like suicide is just dramatic effect for look at me. Let us face it, this little girl is an actress and has been a cable actress, best known for her part in Suits, which didn't have a very large audience. Although I must admit, I watched quite a number of episodes and found it quite entertaining. Furthermore, the way she had ensured that it was lit while filming, it was not self-evident that she was anything other than a European. She looked far more like an Italian with straight black hair and slightly olive skin. That's for the benefit of those who feel racist. And we have a society worldwide that values freedom of speech. If somebody finds they have a problem, that is their problem, and it is up to them if they take offence. It is impossible to give offence as a stranger, for the simple reason that how can you offend somebody? They don't know who you are, they know nothing about you, and they couldn't care less anyway. Offence is something people take on purpose.
So basically then, going back to Meghan and Harry, there does seem, certainly in America, to be the view that if someone announces that they suffer from mental health problems, they should automatically be believed. And anyone who condemns them for using that as a reason for publicity is criticized.
No, they're not. They're called racist. What is the connection?
You tell me.
I have no idea what the connection is. If I think somebody is talking nonsense about mental health and a pack of lies surrounding it, it doesn't matter what their colour is. I'm talking about what they're saying about mental health. So they are not connected. And yet it is all too easy. And we've just seen an American network have a falling out because Sharon Osbourne supported Piers Morgan, who knew Meghan before she was involved with Harry and was quite a friend of hers. And there was no sign of racism and no claims of racism. Yet when he turned round and said that he did not believe her story about mental health, he was accused of being racist on an American mainstream network television program. Total bunkum. That is just virtue signaling by amateur pretend journalists.
Right.
Made absolute sense. Because if she had had a mental health problem, do bear in mind that both her husband and her brother-in-law had set up an organization, this pair of overt royal family racists, it would appear many areas of the press claim, had set up a mental health organization. Harry has, for some years now, admitted to major mental health problems in dealing with the loss of his mother at a very young age. He has admitted he's had a great deal of therapy to help him through that. Hence, he and William set up the organization called Mind. And if she had had a mental health problem, all she had to do was ask Harry to call one of the contacts he had, or even the therapist who had given him therapy, and say, "Can you help my wife? She is having problems at the moment." I'm sorry, Meghan Markle has worked for largish corporations in the television game. She is well aware of the work of HR in any capacity in a firm. She would not have gone running along to HR to solve what was a medical problem. The royal family has access to the best doctors in the world. Her husband and her brother-in-law have close affinity with mental health issues. So that's another piece of patent bunkum.
Well, Greg, I think that's enough for this video. I'd love to continue to discuss the royal family in another video, particularly with some of the errant behavior of both princes, Harry and William, while at university and so on. But we'll leave that for another day. Greg, thank you very much for your contribution.
Richard, cheers.
We hope you enjoyed that discussion, and if so, kindly subscribe to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of our videos as and when they are published. And also in the description box below, we place links to certain books, articles, and programs which you may find of benefit, and for which we will receive a small commission should you purchase through our link. And this will help support our channel and to enable us to develop it further.